Welcome to this week's episode of Beyond the Script. I am your host, Nikki Lynn Mayo, and today we are going to talk about how you are overcomplicating your business when it can actually be done in a super simple way that aligns with how you want to do it. But before we jump into that conversation, I was looking at some analytics today and I noticed that Beyond the Script has reached over 42 countries. So if you are out there and listening right now, I just wanted to send my sincerest gratitudes and thank yous to everyone who has tuned in. If you are looking to build a business or you have a business and you are feeling stuck and you're on multiple platforms, that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to dive into how to simplify it, the revelation that I had about why it wasn't so simple for me, and then how you can, simplify it and still show up on multiple platforms. So the first things first, let's knock out some of the mindset stuff right away, right? Raise your hand. Well, I can't see you, but ask yourself these questions. Have you ever said to yourself, oh, Instagram is not working, or Substack isn't working, or Facebook doesn't work, or TikTok is not working, or, my Substack doesn't convert, or whatever it is, right? Have we ever said that to ourselves? Because I know for a fact that I have. And this is one of those moments in business where you have to get honest with yourself and say, is it actually the platform or is it you? Ouch. It's going to be you. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to be you. It's not about the platform. It's about how we are using and utilizing the platforms. So what I have found myself guilty of, and I know there's others out there like me, is you're treating completely different ecosystems as if they should behave the same, right? And then you start to confuse yourself as to why nothing is working. You are treating Instagram like Substack. Maybe you're treating Substack like TikTok, right? And it doesn't necessarily work that way. So that really is the basis of everything. That's the real problem right there, is you're treating all of the platforms the same. Instagram is not Substack. Okay. Substack is not TikTok. TikTok is not Facebook, so on and so forth. And as long as you continue to act as if they are, that is why you're going to stay stuck in these loops and in these frustrations. And possibly, if you've ever had the thought, well, how come it's working for so and so and it's not working for me? It really comes down to your utilization of the platform. So let's actually break this down. This is a conversation I had with myself in regards to Instagram and Substack. So I'm going to focus on those for this episode. But as I do, I want you to think about the platforms that you use and really think about how these platforms behave when it comes to attention. So for example, Instagram is a fast scroll-based surface level connection type of platform, right? The algorithm is going to favor simplicity and relatability. TikTok falls right into that category. And I remember years ago, somebody told me, and it stuck with me forever. I'm going to share it with you. Somebody told me, they said, Nikki, people do not come onto social media to be sold to. They come to be entertained. You sell through the entertainment, right? And while that makes sense in my head, I still found myself trying to treat Instagram like Substack, because I'm like, well, I'm an entrepreneur of depth, not of death, Jesus, of depth, a creator of depth, different things like that, right? Which is where we get into Substack. Substack is the depth platform. I got to make sure I'm saying depth and not death. Substack is the depth platform, right? It's for long form writings, long form videos, intentional reading. This is the emotional and the intellectual buy-in. The people who are on Substack know that they're going to be on Substack to really gain something. They're not here for just surface level things, even scrolling through the notes, right? The notes are a great way inside of Substack to broaden your reach. I've gotten a handful of subscribers that come from notes, but that's like a commercial of who you are. And then your in-depth writing is the episode. That is the episode, the movie, right? And I have another video on YouTube and on my Substack about that, right? About using short form as the commercials. So when I look at it like that, when I look at it through that type of lens, what I realized as I was auditing my own Instagram, because I was sitting there and I was like, why is my Instagram having like what feels like the world's slowest growth, right? And what I realized is my Instagram, I was taking Substack level depth and captions and content and things like that and putting them onto Instagram. But Instagram is fast paced. The people are not there to, do a whole lot of reading. Some of them might be. I'm not knocking out everybody. But for the most part, they're there to be entertained. So if you're let's say you're trying to grow on a short form platform, right? But you are somebody like me and you're a more in-depth style person. You like the long form things. You like to read. You like to write. You like to talk a lot, right? All these things that I like to do. You can't bring that whole thing to Instagram or TikTok or any other short form platform. You need to pull pieces from it, right? You need to pull the juicy stuff, the hooks, the things that keep people wanting more. And this is not to say you can't take Instagram and filter over into Substack. I do that all the time. But you still have to service the platform for what it's worth. And so what I was trying to do, and I'll tell you this so that you don't have to repeat the same mistakes. What I was trying to do is I was trying to be deep and transformational on an Instagram feed. So I'm mixing business, spirituality, identity work, motherhood, and lifestyle all at once. Now, does that work for some people? 100% it can. But I also know myself to know that for something like that to work, you have to be the type of person who is very comfortable setting up your camera everywhere and really showing people behind the scenes all the time. I am not that type of creator. I never have been. I likely never will be, right? So again, you have to ask yourself, well, what does the platform want? So the people who are getting results mixing a whole bunch of stuff like that is because they're really showcasing everything. If you want to live more of a private life, then you need to pick 1 to 2 things, a couple little things that you can showcase in shorter form, right? Again, people are there for scrolling and for entertaining. So when it comes to a short form platform, and you're asking yourself, well, why is it not working? What's going on here? I want you to actually look and audit some of the accounts that you're comparing yourself to. This is something that I just recently did. And what I realized, it's not that these accounts, they're not deeper than I am, right? They're not, smarter or more intellectual or anything like that, but they have a lot more clarity. And that's kind of what clicked for me is I was like, okay, these accounts have a lot of clarity. These accounts, when I click, I know exactly what they are. And you might be thinking like, well, Nikki, I'm pretty clear on what I do. Are you clear to a stranger? Because see, I think I'm pretty clear on what I do, but when somebody who doesn't know what I do comes to my page, I realize I'm not actually that clear for them. And I realized that through a friend. A friend was like, I love what you do and I don't know what you do. And I was like, well, that's not really good if somebody's just gonna Google my name and find me, right? So you have to go back, get back to clarity, get back to basics, right? If you live in the States, and I know there's listeners from all over the world, but if you live in the States where I'm at, majority of people are reading at an 8th grade level. I believe that's the statistic, is a lot of people are reading at an 8th grade level. It could be 6th grade. I'm pretty sure it's 8th grade though, right? So if you are somebody like me who does enjoy in-depth things, you're going to have to simplify it. So what I decided to do, and I'll share it with you, is my Instagram feed is now very simple, right? It's going to be very simple. Basic digital products for beginners, and basic lifestyle and routine things for, people who are looking to make income, maybe not through digital products, right? Substack is going to be the spot for depth. This is where the identity work is. This is where the spiritual truth is. This is where all my breakdowns and frameworks and all of like the methodologies behind what I do will live on Substack. And so if you are the type of creator like me who does like to showcase that side of behind the scenes, maybe not your whole life, but you want people, to have insight to your brain and insight to your methodologies and your frameworks and stuff like that. That stuff doesn't always exist in a simple Instagram feed or a TikTok feed, right? And so your Instagram or whatever short form platform you are on, that's not going to be your place to explain every single thing. That's not where you're going to explain all of the details. That is where you make people want more. Think of it like a movie trailer. That's the best analogy I can give you. Think of it like a trailer. When you see a trailer, you decide, yes, I want to go see this movie, or you think, absolutely not, that does not interest me. That's how your short form platform should be, like a trailer. Then you migrate your longer stuff into a space where people are going to be reading, going to be sitting, going to be consuming, right? YouTube, for example, still does long form video. I know they have their shorts now and their shorts are great. And, I've gotten a lot of growth from YouTube shorts. However, it's still a long form platform. Substack is a long form platform, right? So I say all this because you have to treat the platforms for what they're known for. Okay. Simplicity is going to win on a short form platform because it's going to tie it to human behavior. People are scrolling, they're distracted, they don't want to think deeply in that moment. I want you to think about the times that you open up your phone to go scroll reels or TikTok or whatever it is. The way humans are these days is majority of the times that we are opening our phones for a quick dopamine hit and scrolling on platforms, we're doing it to escape whatever is going on around us, right? I've heard moms say they kind of scroll their phone when they're a little bit overstimulated, right? Adults, they get off of work and they come and they're like, I just want to like be mindless for a little bit, right? So when you're trying to put depth on a platform that is servicing mindlessness or servicing escapism or whatever, it's not really going to resonate as well versus when somebody goes to a platform looking for substance. So what I really want you to do is I want you to start to audit your brand, audit your business, audit exactly how you want it to be. For some of you, you do want the depth, right? But you also need the reach. And so instead of trying to shortcut your way, that's what I was doing, trying to shortcut my way into it and saying, well, I'm just going to post this here and then I'm going to post it everywhere. I want you to actually audit the way you want your business to run and then audit what the platforms are meant to be doing. So if you are in depth, don't bring all of that depth into a short form platform. And I'm not saying you can't be, deep or anything like that at all on the short form platforms, but you have to be intentional with where you're at, what the brand is, what your goals are on the platform, different things like that. So like I said, for me, my ecosystem is very simple now. Short form platforms are going to be simple, relatable, and visual. That's an entry point. Here's a freebie. Here's a low ticket product. Here's a way to DM me to learn more. Or if you want more in-depth knowledge, then that drives over to an in-depth platform, which for me is Substack, right? My podcast. Depth, authority, teaching. This is where the higher ticketed conversions come from, right? Okay, so all in all, the main thing to remember is your platform should not repeat each other. They should be supporting each other, okay? Don't be posting without intention. Don't be trying to prove yourself of all these things instead of making connections, right? You don't need to over-explain yourself but you don't need to over-explain yourself on these little platforms, okay? Invite them into somewhere deeper, right? Invite them into a DM conversation. Invite them to go look at your Substack. Invite them to watch the longer YouTube video. And this is where you're going to find the true action takers, because the ones who want to learn more about you and the ones who want to learn more about your methodologies, if from a sales perspective, those are going to be your warmer leads. Those are the ones that are filling out the forms, right? Those are the ones that are reaching out. And so the job of the shorter form platforms is just to become discoverable so that they know who you are and they have a taste of what you're about. And some people will say, oh, I've been looking for somebody like this, and they're going to reach out to you. Other people are going to say, this is not what I need, and they're going to scroll away. And both are good. You want both. You're going to want both of them, okay? So don't think of it like this. Don't think of it like, oh, I'm being overlooked. Everybody's succeeding but me. Blah, blah, blah. Like whatever negative self-talk you have going on, right? Don't look at it like that. Just look at it as, your messaging is trying to do too much at once. Your messaging is in too many layers at once, and we need to bring it back to simplicity. And for some of you, simplicity is going to be hard. It's not easy for me to bring things back to simplicity. But at the same time, like, I know that it's necessary in order to bridge that gap. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself this as we close out. If you simplified your business today and actually let each platform do its job, you would see results faster than you think. Okay. But that's going to require something that a lot of people avoid. It's going to require clarity. It's going to require restraint. If you're somebody like me who just wants to, yap all day. And it's going to require the willingness to really start communicating clearly. Okay. Don't use lack of clarity as a self-sabotaging pattern, because we do that. Sometimes we try to go too deep and subconsciously we're trying to sabotage something. We don't want that clarity. We don't want, the quick win, because the victim mindset allows us to believe like, well, if it's hard, it has to be earned and things like that. And that can be a whole episode on its own. If you want me to do an episode like that, let me know. I'd be happy to. But sometimes not allowing yourself to just be clear and simple, that actually is a self-sabotage. It's a subconscious belief pattern that everything worth having has to be super hard. And that's something that we have to get out of also. It can be simple. It can be very clear, and it can get big results. Okay. So your business is not hard. It's not hard. Don't treat everything the same in a system where everything is designed to be different. So that is what I have for you today on Beyond the Script. Again, thank you for tuning in. If you want help simplifying your business, you can send me a DM on Substack. If you are like, I would love to get started in business, I don't know where to start, and you have life experience, as we all do, I can show you exactly how to turn your experience into income. So again, send me a DM on Substack or Instagram. Both are at Nikki Lynn Mayo, and reference this episode, say episode 31, and I'll know what you mean, and we can have a conversation about it and see how I can support you. Until next week, everybody have a wonderful week, and I will be back next week.